Here we are with episode 6 of Why Is Your Podcast on a Dead Girl's Phone? My name is Niles, and today I was joined with the amazing Quei Tann, who played Peyton Osborne in How to Get Away with Murder Season 6 for 4 episodes. She's also in Dear White People for 3 episodes on Netflix, Cam with Madeline Brewer on Netflix, the upcoming short film Jelly, hopefully coming out soon, and another movie, A More Perfect Union. And yeah, this was a complete blast to have her on. She's so amazing and so funny, and it was a really good, amazing episode, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Yeah, and thank you again, Quay, for coming on. You're the moment. Yes, you are, honey. It was so much fun, and yeah, I loved every second of it. Thank you guys for watching these and supporting them. And yeah, I hope you guys love this episode, and I will see you guys next week. Here we go. Okay.
Okay, you're recording. Hold on.
Ooh, I need to get a chair like that. Oh my god.
Oh, it's the best. Okay, wait a minute. We gotta set up the mise en scène. How do you Niles? You know what I'm talking about? The mise en. What is it called, Niles? The mise en. You know what I'm talking about?
Maybe.
I'm gonna Google it right now. Mise en sens. It is pronounced mise en. I need them to give me the pronunciation. Okay, so I found the word. Hold on. Okay.
Mise en scène.
Mise en scène. The mise en scène, which is basically the layout of your shot, because you are with it today.
I need a chair like that. Oh my god!
It is honestly the best thing ever. Okay,
I have my grandpa's old one, and it's like old, and I don't know. Not good.
Wait, do you have the board? Is that the board?
Yeah, me and my friend Louisa made it.
Oh, I thought you had the board from the.
I do kind of. I do. One of the writers sent me like a frame, or I had it framed later, but they sent me like a poster, like a 2D poster version of it with like the actual pictures on it. I have it downstairs. I should have brought it up here, but that one is like me and my friend Louisa made it after the episode aired. Like we printed out all the pictures, and well, this is the second one we made. The first one we made was like because they showed it in the promo for the upcoming and it was like cut off like after Gabriel. It was cut off, and we didn't know what was like on the bottom, and we didn't make it big enough, so we had to make a second one with all the kids and stuff on the bottom. So yeah. I'm so excited you're here. Holy shit.
Thank you for having me. Is that it?
It's not the exact one they use, but
oh my gosh,
it's like the same model. Like
could have fooled me. They gave out, they didn't give them out when we did, and for the longest time it was my screensaver on my phone. Now it's my, what is it called? Now it's my photo on my IG, and it's like we got in front of a green screen, and it's like the How to Get Away with Murder. Yeah, it's that middle one of Viola on the bottom. It's the middle one
from the rap party.
Yeah. Blood, but they gave us all these things, but I didn't take one.
You should. I would have ran out so fast with one.
You know what's so funny? I'm such a huge fan of the show.
You watched it before you were on it?
Did I watch it before? I grew up on it, so it came out. I'm from LA, but me and like my mom and my mom's side of my family, we moved to Vegas, but I moved back when I was 16. And so I was in acting class, and Murder came out like around that time when I was like 16. It came out, and I remember we were talking about it. We were talking about it because me and other of my like Black actor friends, because it's just so amazing to see. And Viola has talked about this at length, just about really just how groundbreaking it is that she's there as a Black woman who at that time when it came out, was she in her 40s when it came out? But just
like mid 40s probably.
yeah. And so when we think about somebody who is like going to be like this sexualized goddess with so much power, like it obviously makes so much sense for it to be Viola, but for whatever reason throughout history, it's always been people who just look like models, and and that's just that idea of like who gets to be sexualized and who gets to be romanticized. Mm-hmm. Is always so narrow, and oftentimes not someone Black, and typically people who are like from the ages of like 18 to like 23, and if you're anywhere outside of that, like it just like and so it was honestly really inspiring to see her in that role. But I remember her doing an interview with the Hollywood Reporter, because I would just watch. I'm a fan of the show, but I'm also just a really big fan of Miss Davis, and so I would watch her interviews with the Hollywood Reporter, and she would talk about she was talking about how coming up to the show, about it being released, and I'm just remembering this off of my top of my head, so I'm not going to get it correctly right because this was years ago. And she was telling the reporter, she was saying that, before this came out, a lot of people were saying like, how is she going to be seen as, sexy, and how is she going to be viewed this way? And then the reporter, God bless her heart, was like looking at it from after have already, the show's been picked up past the pilot and it's already a success, and this white, interviewer, she goes, but it wasn't like that, right? And because now everybody loves you. And she's like, well, with all due respect, like it actually was. And if you look at like, I remember, and what me and my friends were actually talking about when the show came out was somebody wrote this really like, honestly, like just racist, terrible article about her being in this role. Like, how dare she be in this role? It was just, and that's what kind of that was what the discussion was. And separate from that, my teacher, when I was training as an actor. I'm still training as an actor. I'm always training as an actor. But at this time, I was at Berg Studios, which is here in Atwater Village in Los Angeles. And he was talking about, he was like, and he said in front of the class, he was like, I went to go see Endgame, some movie called, not Avengers Endgame, no, was it Ready Player One, or no, not Ready Player One, something that Viola Davis is in.
Ender's Game.
Ender's Game. Yes, Ender's Game. Good. And he was like, he goes, everyone in the movie, oh my gosh, this is his words. He was like, everyone in the movie, basically, he didn't enjoy them. He said the only person in the movie that he liked was Miss Davis. He said he loved her in that movie. He was like, there was an expectation behind her eyes. Go watch this movie so you can see how to play an objective. Go watch this movie so you can see how to be a great actor, right? And just it's just so crazy to like have looked at her and have studied her and learned from her. And I remember being in, was it middle school or elementary, watching Doubt, not really understanding everything, but just like
stealing that scene from Meryl, like, yeah.
Stealing.
I remember I went to the Paley Center in LA they had like a panel for the final season, and I remember Viola was talking about when she first got the role and all that. And I always remember when she answered that question and she said, why can't I? Like, why can't I be in these sex scenes, and why can't I be a powerful lawyer and all this? And I always stuck with that when she answered that question.
Yeah. It was, I mean, she really elevated, everyone did, but she is the lead of that show, and she elevated it. And it was so inspiring. And walking on that set and seeing Miss Asia Naomi King, Davis, and you know, honestly looking at these women who are have such amazing, robust careers, and being there and being able to do it with them, I was like, oh my gosh, I can do this. I can do this. It's not, you know what I mean? Like I don't have to, imagine it had to be, and I was looking at Miss Davis's IMDb, and I saw she's done so many shows. This isn't the first time she's played a lawyer. She was in something called Century. Not me being the Viola Davis fan. This has turned into the Viola Davis interview, and she's out here. But I remember looking at her IMDb, and I was like, she was in some show called Century City Lawyers or something like that, Century Firm, and I was just like, oh my gosh. She's been at this for so long. Mind you, you have to also think about her New York career. You have to think about her career as a theater actor. And like, it's honestly so affirming to know that like I can have a career in my 30s, in my 40s, in my 50s, and I don't have to feel like my time is ticking. Because it could feel that way, you know. This is the first time this is the thing about Hollywood and working in entertainment. I'm still like auditioning and playing roles to where like they're asking me to play like 16, 17, high school. And at the same time, there's this entire new generation of Generation Z. I'm a millennial. There's this new generation coming up, and I'm like, oh, I don't really look 16. I don't really look 16. I mean, we you know, baby. But
little
I do feel like I do kind of like feel a clock, or at least when I look at past, you know, things that have happened in the past, you know, actors, particularly actresses, things that have happened, I'm like, oh, we didn't really hear much about them after they turned a certain age, or, you know, but to see people like Miss Davis, not just working in her 40s, snatching Oscars, Golden Globes and Emmys, and the first to do it. I remember when she won that Emmy. I remember where I was. I remember talking about it. Like, it was always important. So I am as much of a murder fan as I am. I'm truly a Viola Davis fan.
I always like hearing that you guys are like a fan of the show before you were on it. Like, it makes it more awesome watching the scenes back. And
so much of a fan that I remember like maybe 6 months or a year before I got the audition, I was like looking for I remember it was the 5th season. I was looking for something to watch, and then I saw, oh no, so I love to binge, and it was like the second break of season 5, part B. And I was like, oh no, I don't want to watch it until it's all out. And then I was like, oh wait, because I don't have cable. So I was like, oh wait, it is all out. And I remember just binging it and watching it and loving it.
Snacks and oof. Do you have a favorite season from?
Do I have okay. I don't know what season this is, and it's always stuck with me. When she looks at Wes and they're all in that house, it must be season 2 or 3. But when they're all in the house, and this is like right after, oh my gosh, I can't remember. I forgot his name. Matt McGorry's character's name. Don't tell me. Aster. Not Aster. No. Why can't I remember his name? I don't know. Because then I started calling them their names in real life. And then I was like, and I hated it, particularly with Miss Asia Naomi King. I did not like calling her actual name. I so badly wanted to call her Michaela. Just like all the time. I just wanted to be like Michaela, because that's just who I know. I don't know anyone else. I just know Michaela. Not Connor, of course not Connor. Ugh. Okay, what is it?
Asher, honey.
Asher!
You were close. I don't.
Oh my God,
fan card away.
They're gonna be like, she's not really a fan. No, I really am. Okay, so my favorite scene is after Asher runs over the DA. My favorite season. That must be 2 or 3. Runs over the DA, and no, actually, that must be 1. Was it? Is it? No, it must be 2. It's 2. Yeah, it's 2. Yeah, and then that's when there's the sibling,
the Hapstalls,
incest, but adopted. That's when they say the mulatto word, and I was like, whoa. And then, but what really did it for me was that very end where she tells Wes, shoot me. And she's like, shoot me, shoot me.
Rebecca's dead, Wes. Yeah, to get him.
Yeah, oh my God. That is it.
I still don't know how they, like, acting wise, I still don't know how they all do that. Like, Laurel's crying in the corner. Michaela jumps between Connor and Annalise. Oh my God.
It was because, you know what, I love it because I'm actually watching Shonda Rhimes, her masterclass, which I urge any fan, watch it. She doesn't break down murder, but she does break down Scandal, to its, and I'm such a huge Scandal fan. And she kind of talks about grades as well. But what she talks about is creating a ticking clock. And obviously, Mr. Pete Nowak wrote Murder. Murder. But I'm sure that by being the executive producer, I'm sure that was influenced. And so there's this breaking down. There's this in making a ticking clock, and that's what I love about that scene. And that's why it's my favorite season, is because it all culminated into this final point to where you have our entire cast and Viola, or Annalise, who is this person that, like, we don't really know if she's good or if she's bad, and as an audience, we always know what we're working towards, right? So we always know that we're working towards something and we're coming towards something, and that was always so genius about Murder, that I love about Murder, is that it's structured very well. And a lot of people don't like flashbacks. A lot of writers go, oh, I don't like flashbacks, those are so, they're kind of overdone. Yeah. But when you flash forward and you're working towards something as a season, you really get your audience to stay with you, because that's what a serial story is all about. Like, we're all coming on this journey together, and with that ticking clock of, like, in order for us to explain away the DA being ran over and all these people being killed and all this madness that's going on around us, you have to shoot me, our lead character. What? These are high stakes. This is not like, oh, someone broke up with somebody or someone's going to jail. No, we might be potentially killing the main person. That's an amazing show, ladies and gentlemen.
And then season 3, they kind of did it with Wes under the sheet and that whole thing. Like, Wes is like really.
And when you killed Wes, you're actually killing us, because Wes is our eyes into the world. Wes is the new person. He's the one that's kind of, he's in anime. I'm a huge anime fan, and it's called an isekai. He's like the person that's dropped into this world, and we're getting to see it through his eyes. And so to kill him, it's kind of like, okay, no more explanations. Not like, you are in. Once Wes is dead, you are in. And I got to meet him. I got to meet him.
No. Someday I hope he comes. I don't know how to reach him, but gotta get him. He's amazing. I've heard nothing but incredible things about him. And right at the start of season 3, I got my How to Get Away with Murder tattoo on my arm, and it's of the 5 faces, and it was like right at the start of season 3 I got that, and then of course they kill one of them off. Like,
you should put an X. I would put like blood drops. That's
what all of my friends said, like, oh, just put an X through it, put a big red X. Like,
I remember being upset. Like, I remember that happening, and I remember being upset. I remember looking on, I I specifically, I'm not kidding you. I'm a huge fan. I remember going on Instagram, seeing that Wes was dead, half of his body being burnt, and Miss Davis posted a photo of her and Alfie, and she said something in the caption like, "Oh, I love him so much," or like, this has been such an amazing ride. And then somebody wrote in the comments, "But then why did you kill him though?" And I was like, "You better leave this lady alone."
Like she wrote it, like.
Right.
Oh my god. What was it like meeting him? Like, what was
it? Was so nice. Well, so of course I meet everyone as a fan. So I remember one day, I don't know when, but like one day way in like season 1, season 2, I remember watching interviews. This is how you know I'm a real fan. I remember watching interviews. They did an interview, and I believe I got this right. Some of them, and I believe Alfie was there. Some of them did an interview at Pink Taco in Century City. I believe they did it, which is a like Mexican restaurant chain. Pink Taco at Century City, and they were talking about, out of the cast, who can you rely on? And they were like, "Oh, we can rely on Asian Naomi King because she's the most, responsible." And then they talked about Alfie being very low tech. And I would talk about that with my friends, like and I forget what he called it. Do you know what it's called? What he is? There's a specific name, a person who's adverse to technology. And so this is the lore of Alfie. He's supposed to not, have you heard of this?
I've heard that why he doesn't do it, or why he's not on social media, but I don't know the term.
Yeah, it's not just social media. He was giving a story to where like he was like, "I tried to use a vending machine and the vending machine just won't work." He talked about riding the bus and different things like that. And so that was, and it's some name, somebody will say it, but like it's some like sagacious name that I have no idea what it is. And so I just remember, so basically coming to meet him, I'm just meeting him as a fan, and I am like with everybody, unbelievably gripplingly awkward, like just just know anything, just I can't talk, I cannot speak, what is going on, just the worst. And I'm trying to do a job, right? Like I'm trying to like carry my weight and do a job and try to like not be that like one person who just has a couple of lines and is like holding everyone up. So I'm just trying to do a job. So I have to kind of like push this person aside, like not push this part of me aside, right? That is like that is fangirling, and then do the job. And then after the day is over, then I just go home and I'm just like, "Oh my God.
Let the fangirl out."
I just let the fangirl out, right? Then let the fangirl out. It's just it's just amazing. And I also learned a lot, I've learned, and I say this a lot, I learned more working with all of them than I did in any sort of acting class. Because I mean, literally, you talk about a master class. This is insane, in a classroom, sitting down, watching the greatest actor of our generation act, and seeing how she goes from take to take to take, and seeing all these other actors who I respect so much, seeing how they do it. And I took so many things from them. I think about it all the time, and I'm just like,
speechless. Yeah.
Blessed. Speechless, blessed, just amazing.
I kind of wanted to touch on some of your other roles that you've been in, if that's okay, before we go through all the murder stuff. I was wondering what it was like working with Madeline Brewer on the Netflix movie Cam, because I'm such a huge Handmaid's Tale fan and Orange is the New Black, so I was really looking forward to some stories with her, if you have any.
So I've only worked with Madeline Brewer one day. And we only met that one day, but we follow each other on Instagram, and she's very sweet and very kind. That was my first SAG project. It was one day, 2 scenes, just a couple of lines. Not too dissimilar from Murder, except Murder was, you got to see me over multiple episodes. It was a really great learning experience as well. It was my first time. I remember feeling so frozen. Sarah Paulson talks about like her first movie feeling like she couldn't like move. And I'm like, I relate to that. Like I relate to that. Um and it was nice. And after doing that, we'll see, Cam is really vital. Cam is really vital to the lore of Quei Tann and to my dreams and my career. Um because after I filmed Cam, I got some auditions and I got pretty far, flown out to places like almost like, you know what I mean? Like really close to, you know. And it didn't happen. And I was Emma Stone in La La Land. I was distraught, like literally distraught. And I ended up getting a job at this retail franchise called Keller Williams. And I worked there for about 9 months. And then I quit because I started auditioning again. And I ended up getting an agent. And after I got an agent, because I had a manager at the time, listen, I've been really making stuff happen. So the way I had got Cam was like through like a modeling kind of agent who was, you know, a modeling manager kind of person, right? And so I've been making stuff happen and very fly by night, very putting things together. I'm that girl. And so because I will make it, listen to me, I will make it happen. I will make it happen. And if you don't know by now, if you don't know by now, just you wait. Just you wait. You're gonna be like, she told me she was gonna make it happen.
I
and
remember that.
and so this was me doing that. But so I was really distraught. And so but I ended up getting the actual acting agent, started going on auditions, wasn't getting anything, was just auditioning and getting callbacks and getting so much, almost there. And then and it's,
what is that like auditioning like over and over, and like what is that? It must be hard sometimes.
It hurt. It honestly, yeah, that's why I took a pause, because it hurt. Like it really hurts to, even though this is not what they're saying saying that you're not talented. And they're not saying that you're not beautiful enough, or that you're not special enough, or that, you know, they're not saying that there's something wrong with you. Most of the time what they're saying is, this is a role that we wrote that for whatever reason you just don't fit. It could honestly be that you're just too tall. It could honestly be that you're just too short, or it could just honestly be that there's just something about your voice that just isn't it. Maybe your voice just sounds a little young, right? Or maybe your voice just sounds whatever, you know what I mean? And unless we want to make this into like an accent kind of thing where we have you training out of whatever, you know, or yeah, or whatever, right? So it can honestly be whatever, but that's not the way it feels. The way that it feels is like you're a piece of
personal, yeah.
And it's not going to happen for you. It honestly, that's how it felt to me. It just felt like, why are you doing this to yourself again and again and again and again? And I think I needed a light. And I remember I was going to be, let me say this carefully so I don't give anything away for what I'm doing. Okay. Let me just close my mouth. Okay. I'm not going to say what it was, but I auditioned for something that people are a big fan of, a type of character that people love. And it's a trope. Not a trope, but it's also a franchise. So I auditioned to be this type of franchise kind of a character thing, part of a team, if you will. And so I got really, just say what it is. I got really close, and I did what's called a screen test, which back in the old Hollywood days, you'd always talk about actresses doing screen tests. And so I did a screen test, and you get callbacks, you know, sometimes people have general meetings, but a screen test means you've signed a contract. And it means that not only will you either get the role or not, but whoever gets it, and it's between me and 2 other women, then your contract's already signed. So you sign the contract before you go into it. And so that didn't go my way. And when it didn't go my way, it just felt so devastating. I remember it was also my birthday.
Oh my God.
I know. It was also my birthday.
Tarnished your birthday. No.
I know. And my agent, he took me to lunch at Cheesecake Factory, and he was like, I just want you to know I am very, very proud of you. And he was like, people don't get screen tests who aren't talented. People don't get screen tests who aren't onto something. And I turned it to Olivia Pope. It's handled. So if you follow me, my agent does not talk like that at all. He's very nice and, very calm. But honestly, the way that I interpreted it was like, was honestly like Olivia Pope telling me, you're being like, don't be a big baby. Don't be a bitch baby. And so, a few months later or sometime later, Cam comes out. Not the movie, not the movie, but images of me and Madeline Brewer and our co-stars comes out, and it's of our images. Someone who was in 2 scenes, who filmed one day. What's going on? What's going on? Why is my face on there? And it was a light. It was a light. It was a light. And doing that with Madeline Brewer, even though I don't know her very well, and she was very lovely and kind, and just like working with anybody else, having her face next line, an actor who has this, this robust career, right? It was like it, and then being in these articles, it gave me some kind of legitimacy. It was like, okay. And it made me believe it, right? Because Will Smith says you have to, like, successful people have to have a certain kind of delusional quality to them. And so it made me believe the delusion. It made me believe, like, oh, I am somehow a star, right? It made, and that's important, right? Like when I walk into these rooms, like, I have to feel like I'm the one, and at the same time not be a complete jerk in my normal life, but it made me believe it. And so it was just, honestly, it was not the genesis, but it was definitely a pivotal point that really, burn that fire and let that fire keep, going.
Yeah, I think I remember when you posted that screenshot of the deadline. I think it was on the deadline, or of the Cam picture. I think I remember you posting that, and I like hearing that story, that behind that. Girl, that's awesome. And then that led into 3 episodes on Dear White People for Netflix.
Why do you know my resume?
Girl, I do my research.
First of all,
you know Viola Davis's resume.
I know. Well, Viola Davis. Wait a second. Come on. First of all, I am so happy that you even know. I'm very emotional. I'm very emotional.
I'll go away.
I will just say I have to turn around.
Oh my God.
I am very.
I was happy you said yes. I had to do my research.
Hold on. This is too much. This is too much. Listen, I'm very emotional, okay? Okay, listen. Oh my gosh. Look. First of all, thank you. Who am I? Anyway, yes, that led to Dear White People, and in a very specific way. So Cam comes out in November or December, and I believe it was December 15th. No, it was November 15th. Yeah, it was like November 15th. It might actually have been the 15th, but it was sometime in November. And we went to AFI, which is the Gronum's Chinese Gronum's Theater. I believe it's Gronum's on Hollywood Boulevard. And we go there in like October or something. And then they asked, we all got up on stage. And they asked every actor and the director and the writer, Daniel Goldhaber and Issa Mazza. It's an Italian name. I can't say it right. Mazza. And so they asked everybody, what are you up to next? And I was like, I'm auditioning. I'm auditioning.
I'm out there.
And Daniel, after, he was like, oh my God, I hate that he freaking asked that question. I mean, why? You know what I mean? And I thought to myself, I was like, no, I'm happy that he asked it, because what am I doing next? What am I up to next? And because that's what it's about. You know, it's always about what you're doing next. And I was still with my same agent, still with him today. And it took 6 months, not from that date, but 6 months since I got with him. And it was sometime in December. It was the next month or the end of November, to where I auditioned for Dear White People here in Los Angeles, did a callback up in Sun Valley, and the casting director, Kim Coleman, she came outside. I was the second person to go in. There was only me and someone else. I was the second person to come in, and I was outside too. And because I was just like warming my body up. I'm so, listen, I am one of those actors where you're like, this is a lot. She's stretching. She's warming up her voice like she's about to sing. Like it's a lot. And so she comes outside, and I say, and I'm already there, and I say, just so you know, I'm already a part of the Netflix family. Oh, I have a film, you know. My face is, and my face is on the posters. My face is on the press release. My face is on the trailer. And for a while, it was on when you just went to the Netflix part of it before it comes out. It was just there. It was the three of us looking at Madeline's character, and so. On camming. And so I just mentioned that. I always like to find little moments, because I honestly believe that, like, I believe that people buy in. I feel like when you're buying something, I was just watching, this is me nerding out. I was just watching Bob Iger's masterclass, who was the CEO of Disney, the owner, the parent company of the ABC company. And he was talking about when people buy into a brand, they're not just buying the product, like they're also buying like what they think that brand represents. And so I do like to take a moment to sell myself, right? I do like people to get to know about me. And even though she has that information, Cam, it isn't as though she maybe necessarily made that link, or that they're like, oh, this is somebody who's on Netflix. This is someone who has some kind of legitimacy. Even though it's only two scenes, and like a little bit of dialogue, I'm gonna make you believe. That's my job, to make you believe that I actually am something more than what I actually am. That's the idea of the illusion of the acting. That's what I feel when we talk about star power and branding and things like that. And so I took that moment to sell myself, and it definitely led to it in a very particular way, because I was already a part of this Netflix family. Yeah. So, and I learned, and it primed me, that experience. And guess what?
What?
It's so crazy.
I'm ready.
Matt, okay, I'm going to be so embarrassed.
Uh-oh.
I'm literally going to be so embarrassed, but we've already done our job together, so I feel comfortable to say this. Matt McGorry.
Oh my God.
Who I literally, and I was a teenager at the time. I don't mind. So y'all leave me alone. I had the biggest crush on him, watching him on Orange is the New Black and Murder. Mm-hmm. I thankfully have never, I didn't say that at the time. I wasn't, you know what I mean? I wasn't like on social media saying that. So like nobody would know or could look it up. Now people will know.
Now
literally had the biggest crush. Me and some of my girlfriends would talk about him all the time, particularly me and one of my girlfriends, Paris, would always gush over him. So after doing Dear White People, and I do this scene in Dear White People where I dress up as Marie Antoinette in this huge pink wig, and I do this affectation to my voice, and I talk about the proletariat, and I really I look at the French Revolution vis-a-vis to capitalism and the 1% in America to today. So I say, look at how they did a revolution in France. We can also do that revolution here. And obviously much more exciting with better writing and better acting. And so, and it honestly is a moment. Like you should watch it. It is a moment. And, and I show up to my first day of murder. I'm in the classroom, and no one has ever come up to me and has said, I know you from your acting roles. No one's ever done that. Matt McGorry, someone who I literally was straight faced around all the time. Mm-hmm. He goes, I know you. You know me?
Runs out of the classroom.
He was like, I know you from TV. And I was like, how?
What do you
Cause and mind you, he got to see me act, and he was so nice. And obviously another person to where I was like, I'm just not even gonna talk to you. I'm just not even going to. This is too much. But he was so kind. And he would always congratulate me on just all types of stuff that is coming out in the future, but at the time we knew about. And so he was just super kind. And of course I was an awkward, ridiculous cute mess. Yeah.
Go to your seat. Don't quit talking. Oh my God. That's so good. Oh my God. I couldn't do it, girl. I'd be running out of the classroom. Annalise would be chasing me. Oh no. That's so good. Damn. And then another role is A More Perfect Union. You played Caroline Lewis. Is that out already, or is that still?
That is not out. That is some stuff that we are still working on with, the pandemic and things like that. But it was really, really nice to have my face in the Hollywood Reporter talking about a film that is going to be happening. And that is just, come on. We started this conversation talking about Viola Davis, Miss Davis in the Hollywood Reporter, doing an interview. Yeah. Now we're talking about Quei Tann, right? Who was watching that interview, oh my, being so inspired, who is now, there is a film that she's going to be in, and there's a Hollywood Reporter release with her face in it.
Full circle, honey.
full circle.
And it has a pandemic storyline in it too, right? About
it does. And there's going to be very soon, you're going to see 3 things coming out in addition to the film. The film we're still working on, but there's going to be 3 things that are, as we say, in the can, that you should be looking out for.
I'm ready, girl. And then you did a short film called Jelly where you played Edith. I was wondering if you could talk about that also. I read the synopsis and it sounds really, really good. So I'm hoping.
Yeah, it's my first lead role.
Period.
Yeah. Honestly, even all the short films and student films I've done before, this is the first, and this isn't a short film or a student film. This is a film that has big backing to it. Bella Thorne is executive producing, which whoa. And then the reason why I got this film, part of the reason why, and it was the first time I got something that I didn't have to audition for, and I was like, are you sure you don't want me to read something? I'm like, you sure you don't want to make double check that, And so I go to that screen test that I did, where I was auditioning to be a part of this huge thing that I didn't get. Those casting directors loved me and looked out for me. And when one of the actors from that show was like, I'm doing this short film. This is one of my first short films. They told them, they were like, you should go see her. You should go see Quei Tann. She's it. She is an icon. She is a legend. And she is the moment. I'm obsessed with saying that. Wendy Williams said that about Little Kim, and I'm now obsessed with it. So me and Ariella Barrera, we meet up and we talk about this short film that they want to do, and basically it's something about a teenage girl is experiencing tokenism, and she's a loner, and then she goes to like hang out with the popular girls at school, and then it's a cult, and then she has an exorcism, and then Ariella Barrera shows me this movie where like from back, like this French film from back in the 70s or 60s, where this woman miscarries the devil's baby, and it's the most insane thing I've ever seen in my life. And so I was working with my acting coaches, and I was like, how do I do that? And the moment that you see that, you're going to be like, this is so insane. And when I say I go, and I wasn't miscarrying the devil's baby, but that was the inspiration. And I loved that Ariella, as a director, Ariella is so great because they gave me great inspiration. And so we were on the same page. It wasn't like, I'm thinking that I'm doing a different kind of horror, or I think I'm doing a different kind of exorcism. Like, we knew exactly what it was. We had musical inspiration and things like that. And so it's when it comes out, if I didn't mention, it's being executive produced by Bella Thorne. There's a huge production company behind it. So
the moment.
the moment she is the moment. And so that'll come out, so that'll be like, that's an extra thing to look out for. But there's three things to look out that'll be on TV that you'll want to see soon, that I don't talk about anything unless there's a press release, or unless it's already out. So yeah.
Is Jelly this year anytime, or if you can say?
Jelly was filmed in 2019.
Oh, damn.
So yeah, I mean, listen, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it has to go through the festivals, but now the festivals are, you know what I mean? And so I think there was an editing process where we were taking our time and getting other backers behind it and things like that. So during that 2019 and once that 2019 was up, now it's just kind of like, and I don't feel like it's, I personally like that we're waiting, or I don't know what we're doing, but I personally like that it hasn't come out in the middle of quarantine. Like, I feel like if we want to go through and we still are in a type of a quarantine because stuff is just not completely open. We can't get together en masse like we used to. And so I like that we're waiting. Like, let the right time be the right time.
I need to see the moment on the big screen.
Trust the moment. Trust the moment.
Damn, it'll be worth the wait, I'm sure. It sounds so good. Oh my God. Get it. And then I'm ready to jump into Murder Again, girl, if you are.
Yeah.
What was it when you auditioned? Did you know it was going to be this classmate?
I didn't get the first role I auditioned for.
For Murder, you didn't?
No, I didn't.
Wow.
I wasn't supposed to, but I auditioned for the role of Brandy Green, and it actually went to a friend of mine, Alexandra Gray, who ended up playing Brandy Green.
Oh, yeah.
6, who her husband robbed a quickie mart, a payday loan mart or something, and her face is actually in our classroom when Asia Naomi King, or Michaela, is breaking down the
dollars and stuff, right?
The dollars, and giving out the dollars. That's my first scene, and it's actually cut between the both of us. And so it was, I mean, oh my gosh, it's such an amazing moment.
That's a good case. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was, so I auditioned for that. I didn't get it, but I felt good because when I went into the audition room, Linda Lowy's audition room, who is obviously someone that I really revere because changed my life. I love all the people, all the casting directors who changed my life and who, watched my acting and give me a shot. And so I remember looking at and seeing Grey's Anatomy, Kerry Washington,
Mm.
and of course Miss Davis. All their photos, just like they're behind your wall, they're all in Miss Linda Lowy's office in the waiting room. And as such a fan, I'm just like so nervous. I was so nervous. And I felt like I was waiting forever to go in there, waiting forever, forever, forever. And Alex also didn't get the first role she auditioned for. Alex auditioned for Rhonda Morehouse kind of ended up being who Peyton ended up turning into after Rhonda was had to leave for other reasons, for schedule conflict reasons. Hope I'm not giving too much away. No, she just did another show. She was just doing another show. She's on the block on Netflix. And so Alex didn't get that role, but she got this one. And I didn't get Brandy Green, but they brought me back in immediately. When I say Linda Lowy is the truth, when I say Linda Lowy is like really like went to bat for me, she's the moment. Like Linda Lowy honestly is the moment. She went to bat for me, and I've never ever up until that point have been brought right back in. I like auditioned on a weekday, and then they brought me back in. Like they told me on the weekend, you're coming back. Like, we want to see you again for something else. And again, it's like when my agent says, like, they love you, like you don't get screen tests and callbacks for no reason. And I was working as a maid at the time and doing, maid work, and people don't get it. People don't get it. I think they think the life is really charmed. Like, it's like, oh my gosh, it just have everything. And it's like, I remember being on the bus. This was when I was coming back. I was like taking the bus to go downtown to clean someone's like skyrise apartment in downtown LA in the middle of Skid Row, someone's luxury apartment, and then going back down to the, what is it called? And was looking at my sides. I always print out. Let me show you. Not this. This is like an actual audition. But let me show someone scripts. But like this is something I'm doing for class. I always print everything out. And so I was just on the bus, taking the bus down. What street was that? Pico? Taking the bus down Pico all the way to downtown LA before coronavirus. And going down there, and then would clean that house, would be thinking about Peyton, would go downstairs, these luxury apartments, they have all these types of little free coffee and little snacks and stuff, would steal all of that.
Period.
Not all of it, but I would take like generous amounts of like tea and generous amounts of, oh, you want the tea, honey? Generous amounts of stuff. And then, go on my merry way. And then I remember going that day, going back again. And I was like, and I remember looking again at that face of Kerry Washington and at the face of Miss Davis and of the Grace people, and really looking back at Olivia Pope. And I was like, in my Olivia Pope
stance,
in my Olivia Pope stance, and just looking as I'm her client and she is handling me. Oop. And I'm like, you are going to go in there and you are going to handle this. They are going to see you and they are going to know that there is no other choice. Everyone in here, they've wasted their time. They can go back home and they can try for a million other parts, but this part is my part and I will have it. And so I go into there. And this is what I tell myself, and I go into there, and it's a lot of people, and I'm the only Black woman that's auditioning for this role. Obviously, we have other roles, and they see so many other people, but for this one in particular, everyone else doesn't look like me. Everyone else isn't Black, and you can kind of feel like, clearly they have an idea, and that idea again is somebody that is, it's not a bad thing, right? Like when you're casting a show, you need all types of people. There's actually a very specific reason why you might want a white person to interact with a diverse group of people, right? Because you're actually able to tell a certain story. So it's actually very important to have different types of people to tell a full kind of story. But as an actor, from an actor's point of view, it's like, They clearly have an idea of kind of what they're looking for. And I am very, very different than that. And also everyone's in suits and I am in a jumpsuit. Very different. I don't have a suit. I don't have enough money for a suit. Again, I'm a maid. And so I go in there and I'm an actor. I can pretend as though I'm wearing a suit. And I go in there and I was told that this was a very comedic role. And as, I'm sure as you can tell, I'm very comedy. But they took out a lot of the comedic elements and they actually gave them to Brandy. But in order to enrich an audition and to make it more than just a couple of lines, they will actually enrich your role and they'll actually give you more than what you'll film. And so I had them in stitches. And as I left that room, well, first coming into that room, Linda Loy was like, she was like, well, welcome back. Thank you for coming again. And then after like right before I left, she was like, great work as usual.
Hey.
Now listen, I cash no checks until they're in my hand. And I don't look, I don't call my agent, I don't text, I don't say, has Hollywood called? I go about my life. I go back to acting class. I go back to this, right? Because there's always a way to grow. There's always a way to innovate. The past is the past. The audition's done. He calls me and he says, I got it. And it's honestly, it wasn't emotional. I get emotional when people touch my heart, not necessarily when, I'm taking another step in my career. But I am happy and I'm right back into it. And I get to experience and watch the show again with a new lens. And now I'm watching the show as somebody who is figuring out tone. I'm figuring out, how do I fit? How do I interact with these people? What are some of the acting choices that they're making that they've made in the past that can inform my acting choices? And so all of that really helped make that happen. We film on a street, and on that same street is where when I moved back to Los Angeles and was in Hollywood by myself, I was sleeping in my car, which is very vulnerable and very embarrassing and just very hard for me to. It's a very naked. It makes me feel very naked, vulnerably naked to say, but it was a very, very hard time for me. I was 16, and so I was on that same street, living in a emergency shelter for teens, and that's where I was. On literally, it's like you cross the street and then you walk maybe 7 or 8 steps. And that's where I was. And I would look at that studio and all the other studios, and it was just always a dream. But more than a dream, it was a desire, it was a plan, it was a goal. And you want to talk about things coming full circle, like it's right there, like the studio's here, you cross the street and like that shelter is like right here, like you walk there just a few steps, not like, oh, you walk down. No, it's right there. Corner, right. It's all, yeah, it's like it's right across the corner. Iconic. And that was even, and that honestly, and I've met Laura Castillo before. See, now listen, I have not met the actor, so I still know them as Laura Castillo. What is her name?
Carla.
Okay, Carla. I haven't met Carla. Sorry, Carla. I know Carla as Laura Castillo. Mm-hmm. I met Carla actually have met Carla, of course, because I'm telling you I met her. But I met Carla before I was on the show. Oh, damn. So I go to audition for a Lee Daniels show, which uses the same studio. I hope I'm not giving too much away, but maybe they don't want people to know. But use the same studio, and or using the studio for other reasons, for casting reasons. So I go to audition for Star a few times. I've auditioned for Star and Empire a few times. And if there's a role, if there's a TV show out there, I've auditioned for it. I've auditioned for it. Check. And so I go there and I see Laura Castillo. I don't know Carla. I know Laura Castillo. And I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing here? And oh no. I just remembered this. So I see Laura Castillo there, and she's so great and so gracious, and she's so nice, and I didn't ask for, and she asked me what I was doing there. I was like, I have an audition, and she was like, good luck, break a leg, just very kind of gracious, and I saw Laura Castillo and Alfie at Starbucks. Where was I? I think I was in the Starbucks. I saw them at Starbucks. And this was way before I did the show. Way before I did the show. And I don't know exactly. I wasn't in the homeless shelter anymore. I was in my own place, but I think I would go there to like work and stuff like that. Like do like work on the computer and like acting stuff and homework and different things. And they came in and I was just stunned. And then I remember seeing Matt McGorry outside of this vegan restaurant. I don't know if I was in the vegan restaurant. He was not, but I was walking out and he was walking past and I just screamed at him. And I was like, I love your show. And that's, you're living in Hollywood, honey. And so it's wild. It's honestly, it's wild.
Damn, I need to go to Starbucks more often.
About me.
Huh?
So many people are going to say that about me, and I'm going to literally gag.
Once the pandemic's over, go to Starbucks. And
go to Starbucks. Yeah.
Oof. Damn, I need to go to Starbucks. Ain't nobody in Iowa famous that in Starbucks. But
is that where you are in Iowa?
In Iowa, yeah. It's boring.
Are you known for potatoes in Iowa?
Corn, honey.
Corn.
You like corn?
I like corn on the cob, not in the can.
Oh yeah, on the cob is better, yeah.
Or popcorn. Oh my gosh, I see a skit already of like, it's probably already been done, but like, corn here, we have corn on the cob, corn in the can.
Popped corn.
Corn kernels.
Olivia Pope. Popcorn and wine. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. Oh, isn't that amazing? They have in Grey's Anatomy, they have some kind of what is Christina Yang and Meredith's drink? It's some sort of like, is it some sort of tequila? I think it's tequila. I think they drink tequila, and Olivia drinks wine, and Melly drinks hooch, which talks about her Southern heritage. Fitz drinks scotch, and Annalise is as alcoholic.
Vodka, goddamn.
Well, vodka, right? But it is her drink of choice. But she's an alcoholic. And I love the through line. I am a Shonda Land stan. Fanatic.
I miss Scandal so much, girl. And oof. Oh my god, what did you think of? Did you watch Scandal when it was first on, or that was another binge? Or
well, I don't do TV, but I did. Well, no, at that time I did. Yeah, at that time I did, but I really watched it once I got Netflix. And so once I got my Netflix, then that's when I was watching it, because like a weekly kind of, once a week kind of thing, which I was doing for a little while with Revenge. You remember Revenge?
I love Revenge. Yeah.
We have very similar tastes.
Emily Van Camp. Oof.
I love a voiceover. Like
Victoria Grayson, period.
So I just really love a voiceover, and I really love a cliffhanger. Like that's what I need. And I also need like an impending sense of doom. Like Shonda talks about a ticking clock. Like, I love that idea of a ticking clock. I love the idea that time is running out and we need to figure this out now. And that is so exciting to watch. I feel like I'm on a roller coaster ride. And that's what she talks about in Shondaland. That's a roller coaster.
Right. Revenge was before. Emily Van Camp and Josh Bowman. Oof, Josh Bowman. Oh man. And then I kind of wanted to touch on you mentioned like people don't realize that all the failed audition or all the auditions people don't get, and they just like think that, well, she's in this role and this role and this role, like she must be doing good, like people don't realize like all the hard like the auditions and all that. Like I kind of wanted that. Yeah.
It's kind of like having a business, which I actually do now legally, but it's like having a business, but then you also work for someone. You also work for a huge corporation. But you always get to, well, I can't say that for sure. I can only speak about my experience. But no matter how many times I've been said no, I always get to go up to bat again. Right? So there is a grace. There is a grace to it. And that is so fortunate that I am inundated with auditions, like during pilot season, which was the craziest thing I've ever experienced. I've dreamt about having a pilot season. I've dreamt about auditioning for all of these types of shows. I've dreamt about this kind of thing. And then I'm inundated with auditions, and I have to do an audition every time I turn around. There's a new audition. It honestly is a blessing, and it's different now because I have successes under my belt, because people know that I am an actor who has not, I mean, obviously you can get into the weeds of it. You know that I've done a few episodes of Murder. You get into the weeds of it. You know that I've done 3 episodes of Do Right People Right, but that's not what people are seeing in the larger scope. All people know is that I have acted alongside and in the same frame as the best actor of our entire generation on one of the greatest shows to ever be made, right? That is the narrative. Me, Olivia Pope, yet again. It's handled. That is the narrative.
You need a white hat like Olivia.
The white hat. I wear the white hat. That is it. And so, and because of that, not only do they believe the narrative, but again, I believe the narrative. And so now it's different. And if I don't get something, I understand that it isn't a no. It's just not right now. And so I'm able to interpret it and deal with it in a different way. I have my own home. I have something I've never had before, which is a savings. And when I go to an audition or when I'm in a work opportunity, and if something's on the line, I know that this doesn't mean my life. I know that it doesn't mean that if I either get this job or I don't eat this week, right? Yeah. I understand that the playing field has changed, and the playing field will continue to change, and I will continue to rise to where I'm in a position to where I'll be like Miss Davis, and I'll say, I'm actually not going to audition, so you can either give it to me. I remember her talking about this at the rap party, and she was like, the rap party. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I got to bring my mom.
I remember sending you that picture of you and your mom.
You did? Yes, you did. You sent me the photo. This is my mom. This is somebody who has like believed me when I didn't believe in myself. Who told me when she said, I think she said 10 years when Cam came out, and I sent her the stuff about the photo of Cam. I remember where I was with all this stuff. I was trying to become a bartender, going to bartending school. Don't go to bartending school, kids. Just don't do it. $100 I lost. But my mom called me and she was like, 10 years. It sounds like a long time, but 10 years, you'll be exactly where you want to be. She's like, you're very young, so 10 years sounds like an eternity, but this is something that you're building from the ground up. Trust me. And to be able to bring this woman who I love so much, who, she would always, and during all that time when I was, in emergency shelters and all the other kind of stuff, she was like, you can always come home, but she knew I never would. There was no going to Vegas. I've turned into Olivia Pope. I'm Olivia Pope for the next, just call me Miss Pope. Call me Livy for the rest of the interview. There was no going back. There was no going back. There was no going back to Vegas. There was no backpedaling. I'm here and I'm going to make this happen. And the reason why I was in that place and in my car was so that I could be here today and have this conversation and talk about how I acted with one of our greatest inspirations of all time.
And get that Emmy someday, girl. Yeah.
You know we love TV. I always am thinking about Oscars and Oscars and Oscars, which is so funny. Like I always like meditating and affirming an Oscar, but honestly, it's an Emmy because I love television. I love a serialized story. Films are so finite. I love films, and I understand that. Like with La La Land and Room, I'm watching all the Best Actress, all their films who've won Best Actress because I'm studying them the way that I study Viola Davis and all the other greats. But there is something about serialized stories to where you really get to fall in love with the character and fall in love with the world that is just not afforded to you in an hour and 30 minutes.
That's why, yeah, TV is the ultimate.
TV is the moment.
It's where it's at.
TV is where it's at. That's why everybody, and you don't know anybody that doesn't have a streaming network. Paramount has a streaming network. BET has a streaming network. CBS has a streaming network.
Yeah, shit. It's the future. Shit. Who would you say is your like top 5 or your below Viola, like your top 5 actresses?
Like Viola's at the top.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with Britt Marling for this specific reason. The OA, what is that?
Oh, yeah.
The OA, and then also The Sound of My Voice. If you have not seen it, you must. It is one of her films that got into Sundance, that she wrote with her writing partner, who she ended up writing with, and who ended up writing and directing the OA, Zalbert Monglage. I loved it because she made it happen for herself, and she wrote it. She produced it, she started it. I'll do whatever I have to do in order to make this happen. So if I have to write, I will write. If I have to put on clown makeup, I will also do that. I am going to make it happen for myself. That obviously aligns with my values. And so, and then also I'm just obsessed with the story, and I'm just obsessed with like her and watching her interviews. So I love her. Obviously, Kerry Washington. Never seen anything like that. What I loved about it is, and this is really this really is attributed to Shonda, the Shakespearean monologues that Papa Pope and Carrie would say, Shakespearean, and the way that they would deliver them in television that needs to be quick and have a fast pace is honestly great, is honestly brilliant. And you can see them taking what is classical, fundamental kind of acting training and twisting it into this modern twist. It makes me very excited. I love it. I just love it, and I'm just so into it. And also the editing of that show is also really great, in the same way that the editing of Murder is really, really great. You know, you have a lot of spliced intercuts between classroom and the case. You have your A storyline. You have A storyline and your B storyline. You have your serial storyline in the case of the week. Same with Scandal. So if you have all these paparazzi type of clicks, iconic, absolutely iconic. So. And the way that she traversed that for 7 seasons, that is something that I would have to look to in order to be able to also traverse a season for 7 seasons, right? That is what I would have to be studying. Absolutely iconic. But not only that, but that's also the type of show that I would love to do. So I'm really, really, really into that. I'm really into Euphoria. Yeah, I really love that cast and that story as a whole. I love it. And I think it's a great way to innovate. And I think it's a great look at, you know, kind of what Skins America wanted to be, which is like, you just can't really do that on MTV. But yeah, I think it's really great. And I love that it's shot in this very music video style. The makeup and the cinematography really go hand in hand. You know, this really fantastical element. And also you get to really live inside of Rue's mind, and see kind of her, I don't know if I know the right word, but like you get to just be inside of her mind, and like her mind she's not living on like a modern, it is modern realism, right? To where there's not dragons and fairies in the world, but Rue, as somebody who's on drugs and has, certain mental challenges, you get to see things through her experience in this fantastical way, which I think is brilliant. That is a brilliant way to innovate on just a regular teen drama.
And
right?
the musical number at the end.
And the musical number at the end.
Goddamn.
Come on. So I love that. And she also, of course, won. So yeah, definitely looking at her and watching her, obsessed. Honestly, really obsessed with Miss Asia Naomi King. Her acting within Murder is just so great. It's just honestly just so great and so on point, so consistent, and still allowing for that growth where it comes in. And she was so great. She was so candid. She would tell me about her process and different things like that. Cause that's what I'm a nerd, right? I want to know. I'm an acting nerd.
Everything, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that kind of stuff. And so honestly,
she's having her first kid, her baby, which is exciting.
Congratulations. I know, I saw that. I try to stay off of social media,
yeah.
Because you can compare yourself to people really quite easily and stuff like that. And I want to have a fresh mind and I want to focus on the work. I know it sounds like if it sounds like all I do is think about acting, that's true. That's true. If that's what it sounds like, that's true. I do have things I care. I do have other things that I care about, but yeah. But yeah, no, that's so sweet. I just saw that because I hadn't seen anything. I hadn't seen any, kind of whatever. So I just saw the photo of her baby bump. I was like, oh my gosh, that is so sweet.
Right. I'm so happy for that. Oh my God. That's a good top 5 for actresses. Yeah.
That's a really good top 5, no?
Damn.
Yeah.
I'll take it. And then we haven't touched on Gabriel Maddox, Rome Flynn yet. What was it like working with him, stealing Michaela's man?
What a moment!
So,
what a moment!
When
right?
you guys get in that little gas station fight at the winter finale, when they're in their graduation outfits, and I thought you would be in jail for what? Beating your ass.
Oh my God! I remember doing the table read. Everyone's cracking up. Oh my God, I thought you would actually, do you know that I cannot say those. You're not legally supposed to say those lines. I'm not legally supposed to say those lines because they exist on the show. So it's their property. So I'm legally not supposed to do it. But literally completely gagged, just completely gagged. And because it's set up in that way, I get to act opposite one of my top 5s. I get to act opposite her. And it was amazing. And to also be somebody who in this story could steal whatever, could be the rebound or whatever, that I could be a character in a show who was seen as like this very beautiful, pretty, person, this Gabriel, right? That he would be interested in me on one of our favorite shows, on the biggest show in the world. It must mean that I must look beautiful. It must mean that is how the writers see me, and that is how the world is going to see me, as someone who is, and I would always say, leading woman. I would always caption leading woman, because it's prophetic. It's prophecy. You'll see that is where I'm headed in the terms of being someone that is like a Julia Roberts, who's leading films, and who's the romance lead and stuff like that. And to be looked at as that, to be looked at as somebody who could tell that story and be like an ingenue, or just honestly, I'm obviously expanding more on top of it, but it's like I was, somebody who got him, and I was this kind of bitchy character, which totally fit into the world and totally served as a great way to kind of poke them, right, and kind of get them to, because Yeah, everything is in service. When you're playing one of these, like when you're playing a smaller role, everything is in service to our lead. Just like everything that they do is in service to the lead, Viola. So it's like everything I do is in service to them. Everything they do is in service to Viola. It all furthers the story in that kind of way. And so that kind of makes them confront things about their characters, confront things about each other. And so it was nice to work into the plot in that way, and I loved it without disrupting the story so much, and without throwing just new people in everywhere, right? Yeah.
And working with Rome, what was that like?
It was great. It was really great and really nice. He's really nice, just like everyone else. Yeah, and it was fun to hear about him and his story, and he's also an Emmy winner.
He's gonna
And
be on Dear White People too, so you guys have that in common.
I've said nothing. I've said nothing.
I think he said people.
Oh no, I know, but I've said nothing about anything else. I have seen in the press that he will also be on Dear White People. I wonder what that was like.
Okay, I see. Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, it's amazing. And to know that, like, he and I have acted on a show, and now he's on a show that I was on. And so that is really, that is really nice, to know. Yeah. And getting to know him on Murder, getting to know about, I mean, not him, but getting to know, like, his climb in Hollywood, and how he started in soap opera, and doing stuff. All these stories are so similar, you know what I mean? All these stories really mirror themselves, and it's so great to see how things happen. And I remember he posted something on his Instagram talking about how he was working at PF Chang's, and oh my goodness. I mean, it's just to see how far people come. And he and I actually, and you'll see soon, he and I have more overlap within our careers than I thought. It keeps happening. It just continues to happen. And so it was, I mean, honestly, some of these things are just like so destined. They just seem so, it just seems so great. And yeah, and he's really, really, really kind. And it's just a very, very professional set. It's just everybody who works there is an adult. Everybody is, shows up and is fun, right? Everyone's fun, but it was just very professional. Everybody got along so great, and it was just nice. It was honestly just a great experience. And me as a fan, I just soaked everything in. I honestly was like, soak it in.
Taking them selfies on set. I love those in the gas station selfies you get with Conrad, and those are good.
When I took that selfie, I asked, I was gonna say Michaela. I asked Miss Asia Naomi King. I said, "Can we take a photo together?" And she said, "It's about time you asked." And I love that she said that, because I wanted to be a professional, and I loved that I waited until then to ask, right? I wanted to, and it was at the end of the day. I wanted, you know what I mean? I wanted to wait until the very last possible moment to ask for a photo and things like that, because I want all of us, not just me, I want all of us to be able to deliver what we need to deliver. And I don't want you to have to worry about that you have to entertain a fan of yours. I want all of us to be able to be in this together as actors, deliver this amazing piece of a storytelling, that Mr. Pete Nowak has written, and I want us to do all of that. And then at the end of it, at the very last possible moment, I
love it. Oh man. Okay, before I let you go, I wanted to ask what would be your most memorable moment through Murder and your career so far? What has really stuck with you?
I was sitting down in the chairs, and Miss Davis was next to me, and someone was asking about my part in this story, or my role in this as an actor. And I was just kind of like, oh no, I'm just kind of, because I just, I just had a couple of lines. I was like, oh, I just have a couple of lines, or, just kind of here, there. And Miss Davis heard that. And she said, no, you're in this show. You have a good, this is a good gig. That's what she said to me. She was like, this is a good gig.
I can hear her say
she was like, you're basically telling me, like, you're in this, you're here. And it is very nice to hear someone who you look up to so much really make you feel included and make you feel like, I don't care how many lines, I don't care, you know what I mean?
No,
and come to find out, it would stretch over 4 episodes, I would then, because at that time I wasn't in a, Peyton wasn't in a relationship with Gabriel. And so for it to span the way that it did, and for her to say, hey, keep your head up, basically, is really heartfelt and just really kind. And it's that type of kindness from your the people you kind of look up to that you don't really expect. And it was just a really side conversation that she just kind of, you know what I mean, just overheard and just kind of interjected in such a loving way. And just honestly, just blessed, it was a blessing experience. And look, she was right. It turned into more and more and more. And I always take so much pride in the work that I did, and that I got to work with her, no matter the capacity, because
I am the moment.
I am the moment.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew it, girl. We're on the same wavelength. Oh my God. That's going to be stuck in my head. Thank you for coming. Yes.
Thank you. It honestly means the world to me that you would want to talk to me, and that this is even intersected to happen. It honestly means the world to me. So thank you so much.
Everyone on the show has inspired me, and you have inspired me now. And the show has just meant so much to me over the whole 6 years. And I just wanted to keep the excitement going with this podcast. And I'm happy you said yes, and everyone else has said yes. And yeah, it means a lot to me too. So.
Thank you, Niles. Thank you so much.
The moment has ended, or the moment's interview has ended.
The moment's interview has ended. To be continued.
Yes, part 2. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you later, hopefully, and we'll be looking out for more roles.
Thank you.